Let's go, ding. It is Wednesday. Power Slap number 10. Road to 3 titles going down. The excitement is real. Fontainebleau is going to be lit. Ticket sales well on its way. The more and more I think about this card already, I just keep on thinking of the legends that can be cemented in this one. We got Emmanuel Muniz, Anthony Blackburn too. Anthony proved it twice in a row, cements his legacy. We've got Vern Cathy, and we've got Wolverine. 2 OGs going off in a legendary match. And then we have Damien DeBell and Dorian Perez. I mean, man, almost reminiscing. I hate to say it. I almost sound old saying it. Kind of reminiscing of the day of old. But each of these matches brings something very unique and interesting to the card that'll have all of us gripping at our seat. Another week has passed, my man. How have you been?
Yeah, dude, listen, I mean, 3 weeks away. Again, it's surreal. This is uncharted territory. We have 3 title fights, some legends up there, right? Damien DeBell, a guy that has just been so dominant, right? Ron Wolverine Beta, seemingly, we've seen his chin be tested. We've seen it get cracked twice now. But there's questions, right? It's at heavyweight. Vern started his career, had a rough go. Now he's kind of having the resurgence. What will that look like? What will that look like when these two guys collide? Then you have obviously the rematch. It was so close before. If you guys watched their pre-fight interviews, both of them said a very resounding theme was what was the word? I think decisive, or was it? I think decisive was the word they used. Babyface will correct me later, I'm sure, but it was a word. In fact, it was some definitive. That was the word. It was definitive. They both plan to go out there and make sure that there's no questions about this one. And I think, 3 title fights is not something we see often. I think as time goes on, this is something that we won't see. I would argue we probably won't see it once a year even. It's hard to do. Timing has to line up. I really, really believe that this is going to be something very special. It opens up it's the final card of the year. We have a huge 2025 coming. If you haven't seen, if you've been living under a rock for whatever reason, we sat down with Dana White in Abu Dhabi before Power Slap 9, and he revealed so much stuff about what's to come. And there's still so much more to be revealed and so much more to talk about. We'll be here every week reporting on this stuff, bringing in some of these athletes, getting to know what's going on, who's hearing what. There's so many fights that are impartial, meaning we don't have a second opponent, but this person's confirmed that they're going to compete. There's still so many pieces to this Power Slap 10 puzzle, man, and it's all shaping up to be incredible.
Absolutely. Our first guest, Cooper Housley, number 5th ranked heavyweight, a guy that we've seen come in, we know as a great character, great story, guy that does pro wrestling, has a personality to match it, sitting there in the middle of the heavyweight ranks right now. Hopefully we get to see him real soon back in Power Slap. Let's bring him in. Let's get an update. And we need to get that beard report. Hey, my man. How's the beard doing?
It's doing well. Just trimmed down a little bit. Had to get family pictures not too long ago. We had our little girl, so
congrats,
had to get everything updated.
Congrats.
How
you doing right now? Is it hard to sit and wait?
Yes and no. I'm still cutting. So for me, it's like I'm not totally just sitting spinning my tires yet. I'm at least have something to focus on between now and the fight, or between now and when I would have to fight.
Awesome. What are you sitting weight-wise right now?
Oh, fuck. Too much. I'm like just under 290.
Oh, crazy. 290. Wow.
Yeah, it's usually...
Is that courtesy of Taco Bell, or?
That's... I usually walk around about 295.
That's courtesy of a new kid, bro. Be sensitive. Corey doesn't know about that life yet. Forgive him. He doesn't know.
Oh, yeah, that's the excuse I've been using. I'm like, I got a little bit bigger this time, but it's cool. I had a kid. It's the sympathy weight.
Gotcha. Sympathy for who? Watching your wife?
That's okay. No, so it sounds like bullshit, but I promise that's actually there's scientific proof to it. I'm not saying that my case is specific, but there's like scientific proof to it. The husband puts on weight just not as bad, obviously, with the baby, but husband puts on weight just the same.
Interesting. Okay. So the scientific proof proving that. Okay. I'd love to see that research. I think it was funded by Ronald McDonald, maybe that one.
It's very possible. It's very possible. Founded by lazy dads everywhere.
Yeah. Well, overall, state of the heavyweight division, how do you feel it is right now?
I think it's a weird spot because I think heavyweight, if you look at just go through the top 10, it's one of, if not the strongest division. I think the only other one you can maybe put up there, and it wasn't until recently, is like the 185. Got switched up a lot recently, and you have a lot of dudes in there that are just dogs that anyone in there could go for the belt at this point. But heavyweight, I like where it's at. We have a few new guys in who we haven't really. It's always weird for me seeing people get ranked off the show versus off the like events, because if you pay attention, the rules are a little bit more relaxed and not everything gets called as much. Not everyone's is prepared for what they're doing. So you'll see people who do decently well on the show and it doesn't necessarily always translate over to the bigger events. And it'll be interesting to see with that bottom half of the card and how that shakes out into the rest of the top 10.
Yeah. I mean, we have Pono Paul, who we haven't seen at a live event yet, but we had Wes Minna victorious at Power Slap number 9, and we had Jane Seekman beating Nate Bernard. Those two guys, between Wes and James, who are you most impressed with?
So I'm pretty impressed with James in the terms of he can take a hit and he is a hell of a showman. He cracks me up. I talked to him a decent bit since his fight, before or after. I haven't really talked to Wes very much at all. Just watching him get the knockout in Saudi was pretty, or no, that wasn't Saudi, that was Abu Dhabi. Was pretty. I mean, it's just impressive. You get someone who's an undefeated MMA fighter in there against him, and he drops him in round 2. You can never not be impressed by something like that when it comes to slap.
Absolutely. One more for me before I turn it over to Ding. But the main event on this card, we got the Bell defending his title against DTP. How do you think that match is going to go?
That one I'm really excited to see, because I don't think there's a single person in Power Slap with a chin better than DTP. And throw me on the list with it. I don't think there's a single person who I've seen get hit that many times and just not even get rocked, not really look like he's questioned a single one of it. He's always just like, haha, hit me harder, you bitch. And then Damien, you've never really seen a fight where I don't think he's ever come close to going all 5, has he? He's never really needed to throw anything massive or outside his wheelhouse. So I think that'll be a fun one if see them both stand and bang with it.
Yeah. Ding, correct me if I'm wrong. I think Phillips was round 4, right?
Yeah. Yep.
4. So yeah, I think that was the deepest we've seen, obviously, in Power Slap. But over to you, Ding.
Cooper, man, we haven't talked to you in a bit. You seem to have some thoughts on the rankings when they came out. Can you talk to us a little bit about kind of where your head was at / is at, being that the rankings are what they are? Obviously, you come in at number 5, so not a terrible rank for yourself, but you seemed pretty, I'll say, energetic about the way it all shaped out. So talk to us a little bit about that.
It's one of those things that's just weird to look at for me, because I don't know at the end of the day if they choose, because they've never exactly said, hey, this is what we're ranking off of. So I don't know if you want to look at the overall record. I don't know if you want to look at strength of who they fought so far or what. But, and you had a lot of people saying they didn't necessarily agree with the Nate Bernard fight, for example. Nate Bernard's sitting at number 2. He's 2-3. He's lost 3 straight fights, been knocked out twice, and hasn't moved. And it's like, okay, how do you? I get the people that have beat him are top also, but it's like, what are we looking at to put him at number 2 at that point? And I think a lot of it's just like they'll go off the numbers where you're slapping a bag on a wall, and it's like that really. If you look at the slap score, how much is that translated over into like actual events? Because I want to say I had one of the worst. Whenever I first came into Power Slap 3, my slap score was dog ass because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to hit the thing. I didn't know how to do any of that. And so I don't really know that it translated that well for me. But like James, he's 3-0 now. James is ranked 8th. Like, he's pretty far down there for someone who's come in, got a knock, or no, he lost one of those. I didn't watch the show.
6.
He lost his first fight by DQ and then won.
Okay, that is what I thought.
The fight against. But James he's currently at number 6.
6. Oh yeah, it's Pono.
He's right behind you. It's Pono that's 8. Yep.
Okay. A lot of numbers running through my head lately with the show coming up. Yeah, and it's not just that division. There are other divisions you can look at. Like, I think honestly, the lightweight or the 155 guys that just came in, they're some of the more makes the most sense because they're the most recent. But then you look at other weight divisions like super heavyweight. Super heavyweight gets flaunted as this. Look at this. We're the top biggest guys, hit the hardest. There's like 3 or 4 guys in their rankings that have never won a fight, and they have a lot of guys who haven't fought in a year plus that are filling up their ranking. And so it's how are you going to keep flaunting as a top division? How can they be ranked when they haven't fought in over a year?
Yeah, you bring up a couple of interesting points. One that I kind of want to highlight is the decision to keep Nate Bernard at 2 despite losing to James Seekman. I can confidently say I don't think we've ever seen this outside of disqualifications. Generally, we've seen just historically, consistently across the board, disqualifications do not mean a whole lot. If you win by DQ, they're probably not going to change much in your ranking. In this case, James won by decision. I was a bit confused, and I'm almost curious if that was maybe a miss and if that'll be corrected. But I was a bit confused when I saw that Nate did not move down at all, and James only moved up 1 when he defeated him. I guess you know what? I just misspoke. The last time we saw that was Dwayne and Dane, right, at 8. Dane was number 1. Dwayne was supers. I think Dwayne was unranked at super, and he debuted at 6. And Dane either went down to 2 or stood at 1. I don't remember exactly.
I don't think Dane.
He didn't move. He didn't move at first, and then Dumpling moved up. So I think that's what happened.
Right. Yeah.
But I think that's a fair point, right? How do we determine the rankings, and why when somebody loses to somebody else, even if you disagree with the judges on that or whatever, even in UFC, I've never seen every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Yes, Fab. That's correct. I've never seen them just disregard the win when it comes to the rankings. So it's interesting. I mean, does it mean that they still believe in Nate? I don't know. Does it mean that they don't believe in James? I don't know. I don't know the answers to those questions, but I understand the thought process and why people are like, well, this doesn't make a lot of sense. So thank you for that insight. Secondly, your last fight, you fought Logan Greenhall. You guys seem to be kind of getting some separation right now. You're 5, he's 7. He just moved backwards. Seekman's in between you guys. Where do you think you're at right now as far as – like I said, I think 5's a great rank, right? You had your first fight didn't go your way, right? Second fight really, really goes your way. And then your third fight, not one way or the other, right? You stood in there, but you didn't get any victory or loss. Where do you think you sit at in the grand scheme of things? Kind of what makes most sense for you next? Do you want to fight up? You want to fight? Are you okay with fighting one of these new guys who are coming off of the show? Like, where are you all at on where you're at in the heavyweight division?
I'm personally, I've only had 3 fights, so I can understand me staying at 5th. One of those was a super heavyweight fight, that first one you were talking about, and it was a DQ finish. So it's one of those ones. It's like you never really know exactly where to place it. But yeah, they came in with the next one with a knockout, came in after that and tied. That was a fight that even the tie, I felt like I won, but you ask anyone who's ever been in a fight that's a tie, and I promise you they'll tell you that they thought they won. So you can only take that with a grain of salt. The new guys, I'll fight whoever. I love the way the Power Slap's growing. I love being able to do it. I love going out and it's fun. It's vacation, but it's work, but it's just chaotic. And whoever, if they want me to fight up, they want me to fight down. I've always told Erica since day one, the second they call me, the answer is yes. You don't have to ask.
Yeah, so I guess you kind of just answered this. But our buddy Fap, he's a very loyal viewer and one of the guys that we've had on, but he wants to know kind of who do you want next? Like if you had your choice. So if you're a matchmaker, who do you feel like will take you to where you want to go? Obviously DeBell's booked, so keep that in mind.
Well, I'm trying to think of it also knowing kind of what the card's looking like now. Because like obviously there's stuff that we know that not everyone knows that we can't talk about yet. That there's all that good stuff. So I'll just say it'll become very obvious very soon that I don't mind fighting down. But anyone, whether they want me to fight up, they want me to fight down, I'd love to get in there and fight Brian's big ass. I don't know why, but Brian, I've seen how hard he hits, and it's just almost one of those stupid ballsy, well, let's see if I can take that, because he hits harder than damn near everybody. So I think Brian Ellis would be a fun one. Ryan, I love Ryan Phillips to death. Love to get in there with Ryan. Just really anybody. Anybody in the top 10, I don't really swing one way or the other. It's just give me someone to fight, give me something to do. I'll have fun with it. I'll promote it. Do it with a smile on my face.
Yeah, for sure. And then just lastly, you touched on it a little bit, but the new crop of talent across the board, not just at your weight class, but what are your thoughts on kind of where the sport is headed? Obviously, you know, Corey alluded to earlier, right? You have a pro wrestling background. We've seen some guys who come in from different sports. We've got bodyguards now that are doing this, football players, people who have boxing experience. We've seen Muay Thai fighters, MMA fighters. Like everybody's kind of coming from everywhere. But when it comes to the new crop of talent specifically, what are your thoughts on kind of what they do for the sport and the organization?
I think each new crop is gonna have their hits and misses. They're gonna have the people who everyone expects to be absolutely incredible because they were a pro fighter and they did this, they did that. They'll hype them up really big, and then all of a sudden they just got knocked out by some dad of 4 who has never left his couch, who is doing something random. And it's Power Slap's just one of those super weird. It's cool to watch it grow because you have these people who are pro fighters, you have these people who have never been in a gym before, you have these people who are just trying to get clean, you have these people who are just trying to do it because they're like, oh hell, well I want to fight. This is the way to do it. Here we go. But I think it's one of those things that for growth, in terms of growth, it's like the perfect anyone can get into it. And I'm not saying anyone can stay in it by any means, but anyone could at least one time go find out, hey, am I man enough to do this? And you get hit real quick and find out, I'm not. Or, oh, yes, I am. This is cool. And a lot of those guys are the ones that you see like stick around. Specifically to heavyweight, though, I think the heavyweights got some of the top guys coming out of this season of the show. That didn't really the guys at 155 monsters. They had a couple of those. I was really disappointed to see that fight fall through for Abu Dhabi, but the guys in the heavyweight, you got was Bryce Jones. I think I'm terrible with names. I hit my head a lot in case.
Bryce Jones is one of them. Yep.
Bryce Jones, Pono, James, you got some heavy ass hitters, and it's one of those things where already thinking that we have such a solid division. I just love seeing guys like this come in because all it does is us gets stroke. All it does is test us, and we get to find out, hey, are we still as good as we think we are? Are there people who are training this that we've never heard of, or it's just always a good find out what you're made of.
For sure, brother. Great to catch up with you. Great to talk to you. Hopefully, as we start to see this card kind of fill out, somebody made a comment earlier that we're kind of getting close. We don't know a whole lot. We just know 3 title fights. So maybe we'll get some surprises in there. We'll see more from heavyweights, but appreciate you joining us, man. Always great to catch up. Good to see that you're doing well and that the beard is intact and looking luscious. You're always welcome here, man. We'll talk soon.
Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. Hope y'all have a good one.
All right. Okay. Thanks.
All right, brother. Cheers.
There we go. Cooper Housley, catching up with him. Not sure if you caught it, but I'll bring it to your attention. Cooper said it's going to become very clear in the near future that he's okay with fighting down in the ranks. So read between the lines and maybe you'll get yourself a surprise. We're going to go over to the king of the throne, the guy that warms up by doing front double biceps in front of the camera and thinks that he's going to get away with it without me seeing it. Azael Rodriguez, what's going on, my man?
I thought you weren't seeing that, so I was like trying to warm everything up to get a little point.
Well, I don't know if you're doing an interview, you're sitting there going,
I was looking at myself, man. I was like, these guns, bro.
Try to get a little static pump on so you look a little more swole.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Awesome, man. Congrats on the victory, man. Everything. How's it sitting now, 2 weeks later?
Still sitting well. Just happy to always be able to perform, give it my all, and just continue to dominate. Yeah, man, I'm just happy that I had the opportunity to go out there, and what's to come for my future is looking pretty good.
Awesome. I mean, you keep on performing. Obviously, once again, you went out there in decisive fashion, showed off your chin, as well as your offensive weapons that you have. Um, where do you think realistically is that next match for you? And or do you think you're in a position now where you can sit back and wait for a title shot?
Yeah, I honestly firmly believe that I should be next. I know Brandon has been begging and just commenting as much as he can whenever he gets the chance, but I just beat the guy with ease that Brandon could barely beat in one and tied in the second match. And I did to Eddie what Brandon couldn't do in 6 slabs. So it's like, if you add up what Brandon has done in the matches that he has had, I don't think it's as impressive as it hasn't shown title shot potential. I mean, he had a decent match with Brandon Rhodes, but Brandon Bordeaux fought Joe Landman, couldn't bring him down, and like, not to shit on Joe Landman, but I'm pretty sure I would knock out Joe Landman in the first one. So it's like, I don't know. I don't understand where the logic is where Brandon Bordeaux believes that he should be next. But I mean, I guess I'm gonna leave it up to the power slab gods and just be able to decide that. But I firmly believe that I should be next for the title shot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think Isaiah Quinones winning helps your cause because there could always be that question: do you want to see the John Davis rematch? So definitely opens the door in the path, and I mean, you keep on winning. It's very hard to deny someone of your stature when you go out there and perform the way that you did. But I'll ask you though, if they were to give you the opportunity to face Brandon Bordeaux first, would you take that match?
But yeah, for sure. I think I would prefer for me to beat Brandon Bordeaux than Isaiah, because then Isaiah's gonna beat him, and then it's gonna be like, all right, why do I want fucking Brandon Bordeaux? So I'd rather just have Brandon Bordeaux first, if anything, to just let them know why we're in the top of the division.
Mm-hmm. Seeing John Davis lose his belt, how does that sit with you? I know you're close friends with him. You've known him for, a very long time. His reign at the top has kind of ended. And, after I seen him back at the hotel, he actually said to me that he felt like a sense of relief came off of his shoulders in some ways. But, how do you feel about how, that match went and for him and his prospects? And if you've spoken to him since?
No, man, I definitely it was a surprise to see John go down like that. I don't know, it was just not his night. I think it's definitely going to be a wake up call for him. Maybe do the things that he wasn't doing during his training camp, being away from the stage for that long. Just I don't know if he was preparing enough, and just not to take anything away from Isaiah. Isaiah's a dog, so. I haven't spoken to him. I did send him a message just saying, making sure that he's doing good and everything. But I don't know. I think this will just be good for John. I don't think it's gonna be a big downfall for him. I think a lot of us just need that one loss to be able to just wake up and just come back. I mean, I lost to John Davis that first time, and just you've seen me after that. There's no way like I have been close to losing other than the DQ loss and the John 2. But I don't know. I think this loss will definitely help John.
Yeah. Awesome. Ding.
My brother, always good to talk to you. I want to kind of go back real quick because it was the first time we're talking to you since Power Slap 9. There was a lot made of that first strike that you absorbed from Eddie. Right, this is where this whole like zombie thing comes from. And I think you did it against John also, but it wasn't as intense. It looked like, and I watched it back yesterday, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it looked like your chin literally touched the podium. Like, what are you made of that, like, you get that down low and your body's trying to do something natural and you just wake back up and have the wherewithal to walk away without, kind of wobbly. And you look at him and you shake your head, even though clearly, like, I mean, it was a good shot, but you just wake back. It was insane. I've never seen anything like it. Like, what are you made of, man?
I don't know, man. It's just that Mexican power, that dog. It's just all the experience that I've had, not just with slap. I think it's just outside of slap, just being hit left and right with different shots from different people. Eating shit when I'm skateboarding and biking and stuff like that. Just like I've been through a lot in my life to be able to just absorb stuff like that and just pick myself right back up. So I don't know, man. I don't think it's gonna be the last time you'll see that because that shot was fucking hard. I think Eddie definitely jumped up to one of the hardest hitters that I've faced. But yeah, man, I think I didn't feel it on my chin when I touched the podium. I think I felt it like on my chest. So I don't know if I touched and then my chest. I don't know what I felt, and then after that, I was just like, oh shit. It was a weird moment for sure.
Bro, it was crazy to see, and I think it's probably one of the most legendary recoveries I've ever seen. Just because, again, like right afterwards, you just kind of continued as normal, and your body was trying to do something. You just stopped it from doing it. It was weird. So hats off to you, of course. But that you're tough, man. But I think now, like, people really get it. People are like, all right, this dude's a zombie. Even Isaiah said it, right? He's like, dude, I don't think I'm knocking him out. Like that's rare because Isaiah says he's gonna knock everybody out, and he does. but he's like, nah, man, like that dude's a zombie. I don't think I can get him. I do want to make sure we're obliged in the chat. So somebody's saying to ask you about your skateboard accident. Is that something that you're willing to share with us?
Yeah, I've been riding a skateboard. I don't know if you guys have seen my stories just on the weekends. I'm trying to do something different usually it's just all straight training every single day. Don't talk to me, I'm training. Don't talk to me, I'm training. So I'm just trying to incorporate some fun activities, some hobbies that I used to do back when I was a kid. And just so I was writing and I was trying to be cool and recording and stuff. And then I just fucking ate shit bad. I couldn't move my fucking arm for a bit. I was like, and then I think I posted like I should be wearing like elbow pads and helmet and everything possible to just keep me safe because I can't risk getting hurt for the power slap.
Yeah, and then somebody else asked about your younger brother joining power slap.
My twin brother, he has thought about this guy. He doesn't like to be called my nephew, but he's my nephew. He wants to join power slap, and he's been just training with me every chance that he gets. So I'm hoping. I think he was gonna get called for like season 2, but then I think something came up with his weight. So hopefully he's able to come in for the 205s and do some damage. But he's my little nephew. He's just an older little nephew, 27-year-old.
Oh, I see. I was about to say, how does that work? It's like the guy at the press. You ever seen the guy at the press conference said, "I'm a former Mexican"?
Yeah,
and then it goes, "What the fuck does that mean?"
Yeah, he's probably like that too. No, but yeah, hopefully he gets the shot. I've been talking to Erica about that, so hopefully you get another bloodline of mine in power slap.
Yeah, it's interesting. The rankings. I mean, obviously, it didn't affect you too much. I think you expected. Former champion goes down to 1, so that would bump you automatically. Everybody went down a little bit, so now it's you at 2, Brendan at 3. I think the Chief went down, and whoever's behind the Chief, I don't remember who it is off the top of my head. Right, Joshua Newsom makes his debut. What did you think of the whole rankings? Not only just for middleweight, but everybody.
Well, yeah, obviously it did make sense just because of John losing the title automatically bumps me. Let me see. The heavyweights was a little bit. I know you were talking about it with Cooper, about Nate staying at 2. Nate's my dog and everything, but that was kind of weird to see, especially after a loss. I know we've seen it with the super heavyweights, but I don't know. I thought this would have been something that would have been fixed, like or not happen, but it happened. So who knows? Maybe we'll get some light on that soon. And yeah, man, I think other than that, I don't disagree a lot with the rankings.
Awesome. Then before we let you go, can I just get your predictions for the 3 title fights at Power Slap number 10?
Damn. All right. So
I know you know a lot of these guys. You were in the house with them. You've known them for a while.
Heavyweights, damn. Heavyweights, I think it's going to be a decision. They're going to get rocked left and right every round, but I think it's going to be a decision. And hopefully if Dorian is able to just keep it super clean, he could potentially take it. But I don't know. I'm curious to see how he'll hold out on Dorian's power for sure. Who's it? Oh, Vernon and Wolverine. Shit, that one's also a fucking banger. I think Wolverine's gonna get super fucking surprised about. I think Wolverine's coming in knowing that Vern fucking hits hard. I think Vern could take that one for sure. It's gonna be also a matter of, does Vern really still have that chin? I don't know. I think he's proven it, but I don't know. Maybe Wolverine has been training fucking hard to break that chin again. So I would give that one to Vern though. And then Emmanuel and Blackburn. I honestly would. I'm cool as fuck with Blackburn, but I think Emmanuel's coming back with something harder than what he hit Blackburn in the first match. So I would say Emmanuel on that one. I'm sorry, Blackburn.
He's backstage too, so he definitely sees you because he's backstage.
Blackburn, I'm sorry, dude.
Ding, are you gonna do your crossing paths?
No. I'm not I'm not a troublemaker, man. Not always. Only when we've got Chin Reaper and Sean Kilmartin. That's when I'm a troublemaker. Other than that, last thing, Pono obviously saying, let's train my brother. Would you oblige the Hawaiian?
Yeah. We have a training session this Friday, so we're going to be putting in some work this Friday.
Oh, good stuff. Awesome.
Yeah, man. We'll create some content and stuff.
Awesome, man. Well, great to talk to you. Glad you're doing well. You're in good spirits. Hopefully we see or hear something about your future here coming soon. Always welcome here on Slap News. You've been a guy that's been here for a long time, since day one. So we appreciate you, man. And let us know if you need anything. Thanks for joining.
I appreciate you guys. You guys take care.
All right, brother.
Thanks,
Later, guys.
All
awesome
right.
thing. Great to see Azael again, catch up with him, hear his thoughts. Obviously, stacked division there at middle, and some really intriguing matchups, however you want to slice it going forward. Here, the potential Azael versus Isaiah. You've got Brandon Bordeaux versus Isaiah. Maybe you even get, like if we said Azael versus Brandon, get a definitive winner before you go on to, have Isaiah defend his belt. But I mean, lots of intrigue. And I mean, you really can't count Eddie out. I mean, that's one loss, but tough guy there, hang around the top of that division also. And we'll see what happens. But let's not him hang around. Let's not let him wait any longer. Let's bring in the champ, the Michigan man, the guy that bleeds blue, Mr. Anthony Blackburn. What's up?
Oh, yeah. How's it going, guys?
Good, man. I know you're deep into camp now, getting ready for it. How's the body feeling?
Stronger than ever, man. I'm almost putting up some numbers that I haven't put up since high school, so feeling really good around this time around.
Weights in check?
Oh yeah, got about 10 pounds. We're good. Sitting around 180.
Awesome. So you're ready to go. Be in good shape there. Mentally, how strong do you feel right now?
Counting the days down, I really wish it was sooner, but all you got to do is, lock it in. It's a little few weeks left here. Get the weight down, keep the diet in check, and just focus. Absolutely.
I mean, the last one, close matchup, very, very close. I did actually see the final scorecards on that one. Could have really won either way, very close to a draw, potentially. What do you think the keys to victory for you are in this one to ensure that you don't leave it up to the judges?
Going back and watching film is, a crucial part to this sport. So now that I've done that with my coach and, really broken things down and see what I missed, because I missed a few of my slaps there. It's a game of inches, and if you're not on the button, it shows. And I think this time around it's going to be a little better performance.
Mhm. Awesome. What is a little better look? Cleaner, you think?
I'm going to be on the button this time every round, and I'm swinging way harder. There's a lot more power there. Just tried to add as much mass onto my arm as I could. We did a nice little strength camp before I started striking. So, we got real strong, and we're going to see if it made a big difference.
So, like, what does that look like? You talk about getting strong. Like, is it bench? Are you, is it shoulder exercises? What are you really trying to focus on developing?
A lot of it is, just core workouts. We do a lot of trap bar, deadlifts, bench, front squats, stuff like that. Is just the numbers are going up big time, and it's eye-opening for me to see. I haven't done some of these weights in 15 years since I was in the gym for sports and stuff like that in high school. So it's really gets me pumped to see it.
That's awesome. You have like the fountain of youth, the second generation coming on here.
It's awesome, man.
You talk about breaking down tape. How do you do it? Like, what's involved? What's your routine? Do you start looking at angles and positioning and stop start? Do you slow it down? Like how do you really get a true evaluation?
Oh yeah, you got to do all the above, because there's little details you miss when you watch it back the first time, because you're just watching to see, how it looked and how you looked. And then you go back and, watch other people's matches too. It's not just your own. You have to learn from everybody's mistakes and take everything that you can learn and apply it. So going back and watching my own matches, you can nitpick yourself only so much. So having my coach do the same thing, and he sees some things that I don't see and puts it in training,
Absolutely. Is your coach going to come out with you to Vegas this time around?
We're looking at flights, man. They're looking pretty pricey, so I'm hoping to get him out there, man. It'll be exciting to have him there.
Awesome. I'll ask you one last one, just a fun one. You get that win bonus, you get performance bonus. Anything that you'd like to spend it on?
I've really been thinking my own business. So if I did something like that, little food truck or something, a little food stand would be awesome.
Yeah. I got to ask you got that crypto bonus. Did you put it in Bitcoin?
I should have. You see that thing skyrocketing now?
I was going to say that $10,000 bonus would be worth like 30 now.
It's the crypto is still going up too with it. The Cronus that it is, it's still riding up with it. So it's the highest it's ever been since I got it. So it's going up.
Awesome, man. At least you got your account set up. I'm glad you didn't tell me it's still sitting there and you didn't do it. So
no, we figured all that out. It actually took a pretty good while for it to clear and get everything in there.
Cool. Well, I'm glad to hear that they took care of you, my man.
Yeah.
All right, Ding, over to you.
Babyface, great to talk to you always, man. The champ. Pono wants to know if it will be right on one this time around.
Oh yeah, I'm always going to be right on one until I, either, God forbid I get knocked out or something changes where I have to go right on 3 or right on 2 to mix it up and confuse somebody. It's going to be right on one.
An interesting question I have for you. When you look at your division, I feel like we talked about this before with middleweight. When you look at your division, there's you, obviously Manny, Jewel Scott, KO Chris, and then it seems like, and some people would argue that KO Chris is in that sort of that bottom half of the division, even though he's number 3. It seems like it's like Jewel Scott, KO Chris, and then it just kind of falls off as far as name value goes. Does that concern you in longer term, right? Let's say, with respect, I want to say you get through Manny on December 6th. Like, how much more is there really for you to continue to sort of not only defend, but you seem like you want to be an ambassador for this sport. And so part of that means that you have to fight people who really kind of help raise your stock.
Yeah.
Are you concerned at all that long term, like as the division currently stands, there's really not that many people that can do that for you?
I don't think of it like that. Like there's not talent in the division and there's not people that are going to give good matches because they all will. And it might just come down to the stagnant, there has been little fights in the welterweight division for the whole past few cards. So just to get more activity, that would help it out a lot. I think that's what we need there.
That was a very diplomatic way to say that. I don't want to give anything specific away, but last fight you had, but the night before the fight, you were enjoying yourself. Do you think you'll do that again, or do you feel like maybe that had any impact on what happened on fight night?
I don't think hanging out with family or anything, that's not really going to affect my performance. We fight later on in the day anyhow, like 9, 10 p.m. is probably when we go on. So throughout that day, I'll get rest and I'll be focused and ready. So we'll be good.
Awesome. And then besides, obviously, just like I said, you and Manny are kind of the big names of the division is the way I'll put it. Who else do you have your eye on that you feel like, like I think I'll see this guy soon? I think Joe Scott's probably the next one that makes the most sense, right?
That's what I would say.
But do you consider like the rematch with KO Chris coming back at some point? Do you think he fights his way back? He talks a lot about being the resurgence coming up, and I don't know where he's at. I mean, we haven't seen him, right? I'm not saying he can or can't, but I'm just curious from your perspective, like, what do you think this era of Blackburn looks like? If you get through Manny on December 6th, like what kind of not only both sparks your interest, but also what do you feel like realistically happens for you as time goes on? What are some guys that you think will kind of be lining up?
I would entertain another match with Chris if he was able to come back and win against someone that was, impressive. Maybe if he fought Jewel and won against Jewel and, there was nothing else going on. Yeah, I would do it if he won a match. Jewel Scott, he definitely has been at the top of the division for a long time. A lot of his matches are kind of wishy-washy with the, fouls and whatnot, but I would have a match with him for sure.
Awesome, man. The last one before we let you go is I know 170 is your home, right? Because 1, you're the champion, and 2, like you seem to not have a problem with that weight. But now that there's a 55 kind of right there, there's 85, right? Those are both 15 pounds each direction. You just said you're 180. Is there a time or a period we hear a lot about guys trying to achieve 2 division championships? The only person that's done it to this point is Ron Wolverine Beta. Do you see yourself ever transitioning up or down to try to chase that second title?
Oh, I could definitely for sure see myself going up or down. Both are pretty achievable for me, I believe. It would take a little bit more of a cut to make 55, but that would be putting me in some of the best shape, that I've been in for a long time, like back since high school days when I was wrestling and playing football. So, being down there again, it would be be a one and done type of thing. I'd have to just really, really prepare for that. To go up though, way easier. So after, if I defend the belt here in December, that could be something that could, talk with the guys, big wigs, and see if we can set something like that up,
Yeah, I know I said one more, but I just thought of I didn't get your predictions on your fellow 2 title fights on the card. So, the heavyweight championship match and then the light heavyweight championship match. Where's your head at on those fights?
I think that with the heavyweights, you're going to see the first decision for the bell, and it just really matters who's cleaner. I think the bell, every match you've seen him, he's right on point. His slap is perfect every time. There's not much that changes fight to fight for him. Dorian, if he's clean, he can stand and bang in there with anybody. So that one just comes to the refs, I think, and the cleanliness of the fight.
Awesome, man. What about you said Vern.
Vern and Wolverine.
Corey, you got something?
Yeah. Got some. not even sure if I'm supposed to drop this news, but I will anyways, because I don't think the guys that leave trading cards watch our show. But I can tell you, remember last show we talked about that there's going to be special promo cards given away. And I could tell you, Anthony, that we are going to have an Anthony Blackburn card in those promo packs that they are giving away. This is going to be touted as like the pre-rookie card of Anthony Blackburn.
Nice.
There's going to be an incredibly limited number of these distributed. Let's just say around the century mark. You can open for interpretation. And so if you want to get your hands on a pre-rookie, the first ever time Anthony Blackburn on a trading card, Power Slap number 10 is going to be the only way to get your hands on that. How does that sound to you?
That's pretty cool. So the family's already got their tickets. So the crew's coming strong again. We'll have the banner in the crowd round 2 probably. And so that's pretty cool to hear.
They'll have to look for CJ from Leaf. He'll have a Leaf polo on and go up to him and ask him for one of those packs because they're extremely rare. I won't tell you who else is in that particular set or promo set, whatever you want to call it, but you'll be able to look forward to it. I haven't seen the art as of yet, but I know it'll be one of your fight footage pieces. So it'll be something that you'll be excited about, and it'll be chrome and it'll be shiny, and you'll be certainly proud of it, my man.
That's dope. Cool.
Awesome, Anthony. Appreciate you joining us. And are you a Wolverines fan?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of college football. I don't get to watch too much, but
okay. Just gonna take some shots at you. I'm a Buckeye fan, so.
Oh, they're not. I guess they're not doing too hot.
Awesome, buddy. Appreciate you. We'll talk to you again soon. Okay.
All right. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah. There we go, dang. Anthony Blackburn, catching up with him. Great to see him as always. One of those guys that just puts in the work, very methodic. I think he's been a great champ. He's, wore that belt with pride every single day, getting out there in the public, going on road trips, getting in the RV, going to Texas, just doing whatever he can to be the best ambassador for the sport, to continue to grow Power Slap through and through. And so great to seeing him, defend his title against Emmanuel Muniz. I think we all want to see, as you alluded to before, that definitive victory so that we know who is truly that king at 170. These guys obviously have to finish it, not let it go to the judge's decision again. And I actually think this one is going to be done within those championship rounds. I think someone, one way or the other, isn't making it the full distance in this one, and very well could actually be one of the more, it's hard to say. Definitely anytime the bell's up there, the guys will walk and highlight reel, but I think this one for the purists can be a very, strategic and, great show for the audience. Once again, Fontainebleau, December 6th. Dang. What's your highlight of the show so far?
I think Babyface made a great point, right? The key is that, to me, when you look at Dorian and DeBell, you have to kind of consider, like, if this thing goes 5 rounds, and I don't know where either guy's head sits as far as what their approach to this fight will be, right? We obviously know Dorian's interview's out. He talks about what he thinks his keys to victory need to be. DeBell's interview will also come out this week, and that will give you some of his insights. But we know the way that judging works. So if you're doing a 5-round fight, I think from Dorian's perspective, you really have to look at what are my chances of being able to knock this guy out. And if I feel like my chances are what they've been for everybody else, and even his reactions, right? The most we've ever seen from DeBell was like he kind of like pulls his, I have what is that? Powder in my face, right? Aside from that, like, he has no reaction whatsoever. And so you have to consider, like, if that's the case, what do you end up doing to ensure that you can favor the judges, which means that his reaction is going to be extremely important here. And then from DeBell's perspective, can you crack this guy? Should you throw everything you've got at him with the assumption that you can get him out of there? And if you do that, does that mean you make a mistake? Does that mean you foul? I think that there's just so many layers to this match that Blackburn kind of just made me think of. And it's just very, very interesting when it comes to how they're both going to approach that fight on fight night and what the keys to victory are for them. I think this is probably one of the most technical matches we'll ever see. Uh-oh, I lost audio.
Oh, sorry about that. You there?
Did I lose audio or is that you?
No, I think I was
Are you
muted.
muted?
Sorry. Yeah, I was just talking about the Power Slap mobile update that came out this week. There's some new game mechanics as part of that update. Things have changed. Have you had a chance to take a look at that, play around with it whatsoever? There seems to be, some new ways to gain rewards and, daily tournaments and some different things like that. So have you been in there? Have you been playing it? Has anybody in the chat been playing it? What do you guys think? I know a lot of new players got into it. Actually, I see Blackburn shaking his head. Blackburn, did you play that game?
Yeah, it's got a pretty decent little update to it, and it's a lot more, I guess, fun. I guess you could say. I can sit there on it and spend my energy every few hours, and they made it like Monopoly Go, I guess.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but you can. I mean, there's opportunity for you to sit there and spend a bunch of money. They got it set up to where you could swipe your card and go to hand, but it's cool. There's like little collectible cards in the game of knockout moments. There's striker cards you can collect, and pretty fun.
Awesome. I've seen Alan Klingbeil's now in the game.
Yeah, they got a bunch of new characters. Like they got Cole Young in there too. I'm pretty sure they have Toko. Toko's in there as well. Yeah, it's really fun now. Just a little time waster,
Nice. I'll have to get into it. I've just been busy with a couple other things, but we'll have to dive into it and see how that looks. I remember at one point Ding was like ranked 100th in the world with what he was doing. So he was hardcore in the Power Slap mobile game. He kept saying, "Oh, it's my son playing it." I think he's sitting there at work playing Power Slap mobile, getting paid for it. So
hey, it sounds like the life,
I guess so. I know obviously the evolution of it is going to get more and more realistic, which I think is cool. And I mean, they did a great job right off the bat, even from the early renditions of their game. We talked, a lot about the metrics and how that is kind of played into it. And I think it's great for, retention of people. How do you get someone, instead of just watching the match, get them invested, get them playing, get them, to look at some, even just to kind of draw them in a bit more to it and keep them engaged. And, anytime you can gamify it and you can put rewards into it and things that people can collect, the more loyalty they're going to have to it. And, hopefully that turns into, watching the YouTube videos, eventually them showing up at the actual events and just keep growing this thing as it keeps on moving forward. I actually, now that I got you here for a quick second, like, what do you think is the perfect number of matches for you in a year? Because they've talked about next year, 7 events locked in, potentially up as high as 8, 9, or even 10 events. Like, for you being healthy, obviously not, with not barring any considerable injury, but like, go in there, typical thing, maybe a minor 30-day suspension, etc., if anything. But like, how many times would you ideally like to fight in, 365 days?
I would say like 4 to 5. That's pretty comfortable. I think 4 matches for a year, split it up into
Each quarter.
That doesn't sound too bad to me.
Awesome. Well, we're going to see it happen, because I mean, the events right now are being spaced out, anywhere from 5 to 6 weeks apart. So we got 3 title matches, which we talked about earlier on the show, might become a distant thing of the past. If they're running events every 5-6 weeks, to get 3 title matches on one card is going to be incredibly difficult. Maybe one of those like special things as the end of the year kind of sign off, but otherwise, to be able to turn those around. We've obviously have Saudi Arabia coming up in January, And then, future matches coming up real close after that. We know they're committed to being in Vegas every quarter along with the UFC. We talked about WrestleMania being in Las Vegas as well. Are they going to try to tag team with those big, massive events in Las Vegas? DKO Group, obviously the parent company that owns the WWE as well as UFC. So maybe we'll see something kind of line up with that in March. And, just great to see more of the high profile, the more attention that's coming to the sport as it continues to grow. We talked about going overseas to Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia coming up. Just a lot of momentum really behind everything that's going on here. And like, are you feeling that as an athlete? Like, are you starting to feel more and more the buzz when you're out in the street? Are you starting to feel that more people recognize what it is that you do?
And it's funny. I've talked about it with other, like the Roger That guys. We went out and did our thing with the RV and was walking down the strip during the cruise and whatnot. And it was an experiment, kind of. You could see that people were like looking around and didn't really know what I was holding,
Mm-hmm.
And then, you ask people, out in public if they've ever seen power slap or they know what power slap is. And the general consensus usually is, no, they don't know. But then you ask that same person right after, like, oh, you haven't seen where they stand at the table and slap each other? And they've seen those videos online, but they they don't connect power slap in that yet. Like, there's not that kind of traction with, I guess, the casual scroller, you know what I'm saying? They're the actual fans, they know what it is. People that actually go out of their way to watch it, they would see it and go, oh, I've seen you on TV. You get those people, a little bit here and there, but mostly it's just the casual person that just sees it on their phone randomly, and they don't know what it is yet, but it's going to get there to that point where it's more known. When we start touring, that's when it's going to help.
I mean, let me ask you that. Like, if they see that, that they just tune into the knockout, is that good or is that bad for the sport? That they just see those 3-4 seconds KO, the attention's gone, but it doesn't really sink into the magnitude of what is being built.
I think it helps. I mean, any views are going to help. When we do have people that are just, going past it, not really taking in the interest and going and searching more of those videos out. I mean, it's kind of hard to force that onto people. You can't do that, So it just has the general interest just has to be gained in the, general population.
Absolutely. Well, since September, the Power Slap Facebook page grew 1.3 million followers organically. So it's showing you that it's still growing incredibly well as, this thing kind of keeps on continuing to move forward. With each event, obviously it continues to grow, and, we're excited for the journey that it is to continue. We've obviously, as Ding talked about the Dana White interview, talked a lot about kind of what's going to happen here in 2025, but there's still so many details that haven't been released. And, at this point, I trust everything that Dana says, because whatever he said in the past with this, I think everything has surpassed what he said in terms of numbers and trajectory and projections. And so really exciting time to be part of Power Slap and everything that has going forward. So, All right, my man, well, I'll let you go. We'll catch up soon. Okay.
Cool.
All right. Take care. All right, guys. Appreciate you joining in for another episode of Smack Talk Live. We're getting closer to Power Slap number 10, December 6th. As you know, the Slap News team will be there. We'll be there for Fight Week. We'll be catching up with the strikers. We'll be there at the weigh-ins. And of course, we'll be there event night and doing post-fight interviews. So you want to make sure to tune in. We're going to post up a content schedule of everything that we have going on that week. And as always, we've got some special new tricks up our sleeves that we're going to continue to evolve with. And overall, we're going to keep revolutionizing the coverage that we do for you. We're excited. I won't talk about it quite yet, but you'll have to stay tuned, follow along, and you'll see some new stuff coming from us. We appreciate you all. Thank you very much. As always, I know you're already doing it. You're following, you're subscribing, you're liking. Appreciate everybody who dropped a comment in that comment section. And, if you like what you've seen and anybody else that would like what we're doing here, please share this pod with them. Take care. Until next time, we are back 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. East on Wednesday for Smack Talk by Slap News.